Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha. You can call me Sam. Just don't call me
Sammy.
You got it right way faster than Joe did. I am here with my good friend, Maddie Neubecker. Maddie is a licensed social worker. She has a master's degree in social work. She is an instructor at Cycle Bar. She's my friend. We started our friendship. She started as a writer. I feel like, too, Maddie, I don't know if you remember, like, I don't usually like to cross the bridge from writer to friendship. And I feel like there were a couple times where I'd be like, are we friends? Before I would tell you something, I'd be like, I'm talking to you now as a friend, right? Like, you're no longer writer, instructor, like we're friends, right? Like, I feel like I had to ask that like 3 times before I crossed.
I remember that too. But now we're like fully crossed that bridge.
We have fully crossed that bridge. And now you're an instructor. So it's like, now we're just connected. And now you're here in the podcast setup.
In the room where it happens.
All the magic happens, where my Legos happen, where my Cycle Bar things happen, my pageant trophy,
Yeah.
Welcome.
This is like it's like stepping into like Sam's world.
It's a sacred
and I love
space.
It is. Yeah.
With a subwoofer and all.
Yeah. We got Pepper down here.
Well, I invited Maddie here today because Maddie and we like to like get deep in our conversations. I think it's more of like that post class, like, you know, when you're like coming off of class, like the endorphins are just running and like your walls are down and you're vulnerable. But like, that's where I feel like you and I connect.
Yeah.
Post class.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we go real deep, real fast.
Right. It's like 45 minutes later, we're like sipping coffee and with like 2 other writers, and we're just getting deep into like dreams, hopes, you know,
all these
everything.
We're like, let me tell you about the dream I had last night and let's analyze it.
Right.
Well, thank you for coming on here and talking with me today, because I wanted to share, we've talked about like some of the topics we do talk about. I feel like people need to hear or like can like relate to as well. So we're just going to break it down like that. But you know how it goes. 3 things that the people need to know. And as a guest, you get to run it down for us. So 3 things. What are we going to talk about?
3 things. These were hard to think of, honestly. Because I'm like, okay, do I go really random? Do I go like, this is a part of my life?
Right.
But the first thing, we just talked about this last week. The automaton is the hot new musical instrument. So if you don't know what it is, just Google it. And it's a Japanese musical instrument. It's shaped like a music note, and it has like a little mouth there. But now I've Googled it so many times that there's like Instagram videos that suggest like covers of these songs. Like, oh my gosh, I don't really know what to think. But
the automaton, right?
The automaton.
Oh my gosh. And let me tell you folks, this is, Maddie played it for me because Maddie is one of the most musically inclined musical artists ever. She can play all instruments, including the automaton, which is this little man with like a mouth. And
you control, it's like a violin. You control the pitch based on like your finger. You just got to Google it, see for yourself. My brother got it for me for Christmas and it was fun, but so that's, hot new instrument on the market.
I hope they Google it.
I hope so. And I guess otama means ladle in Japanese.
That makes sense.
So maybe the mouth is like a ladle.
Yeah.
The more you know. So I guess that's 2 things you need to know, maybe, but that's
we're doing 3.5 things today.
My second thing. So tea is good. Sam and I disagree on tea because I love tea and I've tried to get her into tea, but she can't do it. And I respect that. That's okay. But it takes 2,000 leaves of tea to make 1 pound of tea. 2,000 like individual leaves, which I had no idea. But I think you just have to find the right kind of tea for you. Like there's white tea, black tea, green tea, oolong tea. You got to flavor it the right way. You can like infuse it with a fruit. But, thing number 2 is tea is good.
That's debatable. But I can get down with some peach tea. And like blueberry tea, when it has like that, a lot of that like high citrusy fruit taste to it. It's like when you get real earthy in that dirt, like green tea.
It does taste like dirt. You're not wrong. I will not.
It's just an acquired taste.
It is. It is an acquired taste, just like coffee for me. Like after class, I will not be drinking coffee unless it's like one of those days when I have a cup of coffee, I'm like, okay, what's going on with Maddie? It's a tired day. Last thing, this is very random. So my dad wanted to spend his birthday at Dave & Buster's. I guess he loves Dave & Buster's. So if you go to Dave & Buster's in Delaware, Ohio, you'll find like a 2-point basketball shooting game, which I have the high score on. I love those games. The high score is 180. So if you go there, if the score is beat, just don't let me know because I'll be really, really sad. But it was just like on a whim. I played it like 3 times and like, listen, I got to win. Like, I got to crush it. I got to get this high score. And I did. And it was like, the most amazing feeling in the world. But then these kids afterwards kept trying to beat my score and they were like getting really, really, really sad. And I felt horrible. But at the same time, I'm like, well, gotta try harder. Like, you're just not as good. That's okay. Everyone has their thing.
I did not realize you were such a sharpshooter, like with the basket shots on the gaming system.
I played basketball in middle school, but I didn't think it would maybe it's like the rim is bigger or something, or I'm just good. I don't know.
You're just good.
So yeah, high score to beat, 180, Dave & Buster's in Delaware, Ohio. So
you hold the record.
I do hold the record.
As
far
as we know.
As far as we know. Yeah.
It sounds like you used some of that visualization technique too when you were like, I just got to beat the high score. Like you become so hyper-focused on it. It just happens.
I could not leave without beating the high score. But
that's amazing.
We made it happen. So
yes,
that's the 3 things.
I think that those are great. The only thing that would have made this better would be if you could have like done an opening with the automaton, like an opening number for us.
You know what? I almost brought it with me. I almost put it in the car, but I'm like, I don't know. Like instead of your normal intro song, just play it.
That's what I mean. Play it with the automaton.
They'd be like, what is that?
It kind of is like a whiny, like duck sound.
It is. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it, Maddie. Those are fantastic. Well, I know one big overarching topic that we really wanted to like dive in today was this idea of putting people in a box. We've talked a lot about how people make assumptions as soon as they meet us. And you shared a fact with me right before we started this.
Yeah, I guess people make an impression of you within 7 seconds of meeting you.
7 seconds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 7 seconds to let somebody know who you are as a person.
It's like really unfair, honestly.
It is unfair.
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be like judgment that goes in that too with appearance and things like that. Yeah. Because it's 7 seconds, you can barely get a word out. So there's like got to be even like body language and like how you're dressed that people are already starting to make assumptions about who you are as a person.
Yeah. And those 7 seconds could be like the worst 7 seconds of your life. And like people have no idea, which is, it's hard. So I think it's an important thing to keep in mind.
I will never forget, I coached cheerleading back in the day. And like at the end of the season, all the team, the girls were like, yeah, like we love you, Coach Sam, and all this. And, one girl's like, I swear when you came in, I thought you were the biggest bitch. And I was like, me? And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, you just came in, you started making us run, like all that. And I was like, gosh. But it's interesting how like, I feel like I'm a little bit guilty myself on assuming who people are. I can like vividly remember like a former coworker back in the day, like 10 years ago, who I was just like, oh, this is never going to work out between me and her, like working together. And then like I fell in love with her over weeks and months and, the years we worked together.
Yeah. I think I'm guilty of doing the same thing. So I don't think it's you. We all do it. But I think it's recognizing that is a very different thing.
So how long do we have to give people?
I mean, 7 seconds. Sometimes 7 seconds is all you need. Like probably when I met you 7 seconds in, I'm like, you know what? This is going to work. But I don't know. You just have to keep giving people grace, I think, and like being willing to just keep learning more about them and keep growing with them because you just never know. Like you said, it could be the worst 7 seconds of someone's life when you meet them. So just keep trying. I don't think there's a set time.
I think that's good. And that reminds me too, like, especially for us as like cycle bar instructors, when we have like a new rider who comes, like I can't tell you how many times someone comes in and they seem like that RBF, or they're like, oh, they don't want to talk to me. Like, do they even care about being here? Like they're being so rude. And it's like, then once you make them feel comfortable and you really engage with them, you realize more or less they were nervous or like it was a totally different something that they were dealing with versus that assumption of like, oh, they're too cool or they're, they don't think that they need my help. Well, they're just afraid to ask for your help. Like I can definitely see how, to your point, like back to like, you don't know what somebody's going through in that 7-second that we make, we're talking, more broad here,
right.
But,
no, but I think it's just so I thinking about it from like a new writer perspective and just like a meeting new people perspective, like just asking someone questions, like asking someone how you're feeling right now in this second goes such a long way.
Yes.
Like instead of like, how are you? But like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Right here in this moment. Because you can say like, oh, how are you? Good. Yeah. Fine. Like, but like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Like lets people open up. Yeah. I think. And helps a lot.
You're so right. And humans are fascinating if we allow ourselves to get to know them and get to know people. Yeah. And I think that when we have the ability to, or we're open to having conversations with people and like genuinely seeking to find out what they're into and what makes them tick and, why are you here or wherever you're at in life. And I think that then helps us get away from like an initial judgment or like assumption on who somebody is. Yeah. Has there ever been a time where somebody made an assumption on you that you felt maybe wasn't accurate?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's happened quite a lot, honestly. And we were talking about this earlier, but you kind of have different personas you put on in different settings around different people. So like, I did an internship over this last year of grad school, and the way I acted in my internship was a lot more professional, very different than the way I would act when I would come to CycleBar or be around different people. And so I think you can, be labeled as being a certain thing, like overly serious or overly professional or overly, quiet or loud or whatever, based on certain settings that you're in, instead of, people getting to see you in an area where like you're comfortable and you're well-rounded. But yeah, I've had lots of situations where people have been like, oh, Maddie's this or Maddie's this. And it's frustrating when that happens.
Yeah, I really agree with that too. And to your point, like different like situations where you're at with different people. And I remember, 6-7 years ago, I was going to get into accounting with my dad. My dad is a CPA. He had his own accounting firm and he was going to teach me and I was going to go back, get my master's, take the CPA exam and do that. And everybody was like, no, you're not. You are not meant to be an accountant. I'm like, you have no idea what spreadsheets do for me and what numbers mean in my life. Right. I absolutely love doing that type of like mind work and things like that. Now it ended up not, because CycleBar kind of showed up and like consumed my life. But even at that, it's like my job now, I sit by myself at my desk in spreadsheets all day long. The only difference is it's for CycleBar. Right. But I think like that always kind of hurt my feeling because I was excited to pursue that path at that time. And like, even though I did change course, it was like every time I told it to somebody, they were just like, yeah, absolutely not for you. And I was like, oh, well, it's my decision. Thank you for your support. Have a great day.
Right.
Maybe because there were certain people who had seen me be a cheerleader in high school or like be outgoing in this job or something like that, that they're like, yeah, I just can't picture you doing that. But I think that we have to be open to, if somebody shows interest in something or shows another side of themselves, that we don't kind of shut that down and we give them a space to blossom in, whatever side they're showing us or interest they're showing us.
Right. And there's no one size fits all for a person or for a profession. Like you were saying for accounting, like I don't even know what like an accountant would look like, or like, 3 words I would use to describe them. It's just like a profession that people can fit into. So it's like, I think about that all the time with like, doing CycleBar or doing, being a social worker. Like, what does that look like for me? People probably have words to describe both of those things, but it all depends on how you want to make those identities work for you.
Yeah, I really like that. If you had to pick a word to describe you, what word would you pick?
Gosh, I thought you were going to ask. I'm like, I should probably start thinking of something.
Oh, you did think I was going to. We knew the conversation was going to go there.
Right. One word to describe myself.
You could start with one word.
I think genuine. I'm a very genuine person.
Yeah.
I feel like I try to treat people the same no matter what environment I'm in or no matter who the person is, I try to be just very genuine and authentic, and kind of like what you get is what you get.
What word would you say you've been described, but you feel like you don't like being described as?
I'm thinking of the word that we used that kind of spurred this whole the whole topic. For me, it was shy. I hate that word. Hate is a strong word. I strongly dislike being called shy. Because again, I just feel like we can't use one word to describe a whole person. It's tough because like that's, words are one-dimensional. We're putting one-dimensional words on a three-dimensional person. And like,
Deep.
that's just really, really hard to do because, I can, shy, whatever that means to someone, reserved, quiet. It could be all encompassing, but I could be shy in certain settings, but not in others. Like you couldn't be, quote unquote shy and then go up and teach a cycle bar class. You know what I mean? So it's like, that always frustrated me when that would happen.
And to that point too, I would think from the outside, most people would not describe me as shy, but like you should have seen me at my very first pageant workshop. Like I had to be like, Samantha, you have got to say hello to someone. You cannot sit in this corner the whole time. And I was so intimidated that like in that environment, I was undoubtedly being reserved, shy, nervous. And that was 3 months ago. It's like to your point too, I think there are different situations and settings where just natural human emotion and whatever personalities like kick in. But I agree when you tell somebody, hey, I'm a cycle bar instructor, I'm like, you're shy. Like, actually, no, I'm not because I'm on that podium in 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. And I'm thinking too, it not even only with shy, but it's like quiet or loud, whatever, intense, reserved. Like people I think it's stereotyped for being loud or like too much or obnoxious. And it's like when someone's described that way, we automatically like put them in a box. Yeah. And like once you're in that box, it's really, really hard to convince people otherwise. Yeah. So that's tough.
We're going to describe people with 3 words, not just one going forward. Yes. Okay, Maddie, give us some. Okay. I'm just segueing us into this here. Okay. Let's break it down. Give us the motivational speaks, words of wisdom.
Well, the first, when I started initially making this like note on my phone, I tried to think of, like the first sentence of
that is a novel.
Well, okay. These are just lots of different, these are not like, these are all individual. That's a journal sentences. Entry. When I first wrote in my journal,
Dear
Diary, I wanted to think of like a hard hitting sentence. Like when you first read a book, you want the first sentence to like hook you in.
Love it.
And I wanted, I guess if this is a journal, Dear Diary, it says for Sam's podcast. And I've had like the topic, it was like all laid out, very, very, very organized.
This is the content I've been looking for.
But the first thing I had was, do not give people the opportunity to define every part of you when they only know a piece of you.
Oh, with that, she drops the mic, walks out.
Like, now I'm just thinking how to like elaborate on that. But I can just say that again because I don't know how to.
Say it one more time. Let me sit with it.
Do not give people the opportunity to define every part of you when they only know a piece of you.
I think it like sums it up in itself, right? Like if you only know me as a cycle bar instructor, then you can't speak to what my family life is like, how I am as a mom. If you only see me as a cycle bar instructor. I think I feel this now. Okay, now I'm going somewhere with this because I felt this recently where I felt like somebody made an assumption of who I was based on what they've seen on social media. And what you get on social media is my brand and it's a big part of me. But there are aspects of my life I'm not going to put on social media because it's personal, it's private. A lot of my family stuff, as much as I share about my family, there's a lot that goes on behind closed doors. Wonderful things, beautiful things, our family, the way it functions, how we live. And so somebody recently made an assumption, I think, of where my priorities are in life because they knew one piece of me and they knew the social media piece, but they don't know. Is that where we're at with this?
Yeah. That's like exactly what I was thinking. And it happens all the time. too. I don't have anything else to add because you just summed that up like
in a real life
perfectly.
example. Okay.
Right. But yeah, I think when that happens too, it's okay to be willing to prove people wrong. Like, I feel like when these stereotypes come up and these assumptions, like, it makes me angry.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to prove this person wrong and like, let me go against everything you've said or everything you've thought. And like, because that's not me. You don't know all those parts of me.
Yeah.
And I think so often we have to take the time, because it takes time to get to know someone and time to embrace all parts of them. But I think oftentimes we're just, not always willing to sit and listen.
Yeah.
And forget how important it is to just sit and listen to someone.
Right.
And being fully present is hard.
Yeah.
It is really hard. I do it all the time with my job and with kids. And it's hard to stay present when kids talk sometimes, because they can be talking about the most random of things. I'm sure you've experienced that. But, I have a kid walk into my office and they'll be like, "Do you want to hear about my dream? Or do you want to hear about my dog? Or
Brace
like
yourself.
my chicken?" And like just the most random things. And like, but you have to be present and listen to that. Like, as hard as it is, because people deserve connection, and like those kids deserve to connect with you and be with you and like share that space with you. And I feel like we can only get to know people if we are willing to sit and take the time to connect with them.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
What else is in your diary?
A stereotype is, well, this is the other, like, one word mic drop
moment.
sentence.
Love these.
These are all like, honestly, just one sentence.
These
and
are great.
I tried to
These
be
are
like,
great for social media promotion. So bring them on.
Perfect. A stereotype is limiting, so don't let it be everything. I think when we think of stereotypes, we have, like I said, those words that mean certain things that people label us as being too much of this or too much of this. But breaking those stereotypes is hard. I feel like I've struggled to break, a shy stereotype or whatever people would use to define me, like behind closed doors. And I feel like it takes a lot of guts to be willing to break that and say like, no, I'm not this way. I'm so much more than that. And so when I think about breaking stereotypes, if someone ever tells you that you're too much of something, shy, loud, obnoxious, like, let them say that to you, because once you can acknowledge, because, those things hold a lot of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like being too much of something, being called that. Once you can acknowledge the power that it holds, like, you can take it away. So you can choose, do I want to let this define me and like let it be everything? Or this is just like a word that someone would use to describe, anything. Like, I'm looking at Pepper right now. She's laying on the ground sleeping. I could be like, Pepper's lazy. Like,
that's right. But we know
Pepper's so much more than that. 3 words to describe Pepper.
I get what you mean, though, that, these words. Do you think that there's power in owning what somebody may say? Like, so, like, if someone says, "Oh my God, you're so loud all the time," or "You're so outspoken," like embracing that stereotype and putting a positive spin on it and be like, "I'm proud to be who I am, that I am outspoken. That is absolutely a big piece of me. And I wouldn't change it for the world." And that kind of fact, or even like, shy, but like reserved and like, I respect like my boundaries. I'm not here to like take up all the space in the room and like, No,
I was thinking, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking that same thing. Like, those words, loud, shy, whatever, like they can also have so many strengths attached to them too. Like shy, okay, I'm, quiet in certain settings, but I can listen really well to people. Or like loud, you can always bring the energy. You're really fun. Like, there's strengths in different environments depending on those words. But I think using those words is only one way to define someone. I think that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah. So I think really like more than anything, I think like through our conversation here, like we can conclude that we as people need to be better about not making assumptions 7 seconds into meeting someone, giving people time to get to know them, to get to know all their depths. Understand that people are going to make assumptions on who we are within those 7 seconds or a short amount of time, and take it or leave it. Like, that's, let people do their thing, but that doesn't have to define you. It's okay if people want to use one word to describe you, because we know we're so much more than that. And we can't, there's so many different sides to who we are as humans. God, we covered so much here.
I know. And you're such a great listener and summarizer. Like that was impressive. You just had all that without even writing it down too.
Well, I was thinking back just to our conversations, because I think that, at the end of the day, it's like there's two sides to this, where it's like we get to decide how we're going to approach and take in other people that we meet throughout our day, throughout the week. And we also get to understand and protect the way we're going to be perceived by other people. And that doesn't have to, we don't have to allow that to bother us. Maybe the way it can sometimes get under our skin if somebody makes a comment towards you that doesn't know all sides of you or is making an assumption based on one thing. And so it's like a two-way street for us just to try to be better humans and then also protect our own energy and space as we encounter others in the world.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. We're humans. We're a work in progress. We're going to make mistakes and mess up and say things we probably shouldn't. Or like, sometimes I'll be laying in bed. I'll be like, oh, why did I say that today?
Yeah.
Like, why did that happen? But, just trying to get better every day. That's all we can do.
So Maddie, before we leave, I feel like you gave us a lot of mic drop, like words to live by. But if you had to pick one thing to close with, to leave the people with, the most important thing to know.
Dear diary, my closing words of wisdom. When I think about doing social work and doing therapy with kids and just I've gotten to talk to so many people. Kids, families, adults, and I love what I do because you learn so much. And a common phrase that we use in the social work world is like someone's lived experience. So like what someone's gone through, what their life is about, like their history, what makes them a person. And so I guess my closing words of wisdom would be just be curious about someone else's lived experience and like love on them, that person and their lived experience, because they're worthy of being loved. They're worthy of being known. And that's, yeah.
I think that's great. I think it truly sums up everything that we talked about here, which is getting to know people beyond what is on surface level and embracing them, because everybody deserves to have their story known and to be known all the way to the inside. And
because like you said, people are interesting.
So interesting.
I love just driving in the car and thinking, where's this person going?
Right.
Like, are they going the same place as me? Like, where are they headed in their life? And you can get really, really deep with it really fast. But people are interesting and people deserve to be known. There's a lot of people out there with lots of different stories that we're never going to meet. We haven't met, but people are great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Maddie, for coming on. We'll definitely have to do this again sometime. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you have a great day because
you deserve it.
Hey.